Welcome back, Internet. And no, this is not part 2 of part 3 of my redemption of Billy Mitchell. I actually wanted to make a video to explain that I do not think I'm going to be doing that video, and I am just not the kind of person that likes to make promises that I do not keep. So this is just going to be an update video to tell you not only the direction that this channel is going to be going in, but also the direction that I'm going in with some other projects, as well as a little bit of a vague reason as to why that video is probably not going to happen. So as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, my reception in the classic game community is not always so nice. I have been met with amazing friends, people that are going to be my friends lifelong, and people that I'm going to continue to work with. The people that I work with the Cadecast are amazing, wonderful guys that I would not trade for the world. A lot of my connections here on YouTube have been excellent and wonderful. I've enjoyed cross-promoting and going on to other people's shows, have a great relationship with Eastside Dave at this point, and all of that has been very positive and very good, and something that I am interested in continuing. What hasn't been positive and good is just a lot of people taking my commentary and my opinions and trying to kind of make it more than that, make it into something, maybe the understanding that I'm speaking for Billy Mitchell, that I am some sort of voice piece to the other side, that I am somebody that if you take me out, then you're winning some sort of battle with him, and that's just not the case. The videos I was making were my opinions, my concepts, my editing, my words, my everything. Like that. A lot of the things that were assumed were just frankly not true, and with some recent legal rumblings coming my way and some increasing bullying, I just no longer have an interest in continuing that type of commentary. That's not why I wanted to get on YouTube. It's not the kind of stuff I like to create. It's not the kind of stuff I like to make. It's not why I entered into the scene in the first place. So I wouldn't consider it any victory that I'm not going to be doing commentary videos, because that wasn't really my plan beyond that one video that I am now kind of canceling. But I would say that it's definitely a statement from me that, like, maybe live and let live. I'm going to continue to produce content that I want to produce, but that is not going to be in the vein of commentary. So I guess anybody that was afraid of future commentary, you are safe. So that's the nasty stuff that I didn't really want to talk about, that I don't want to get into too much, because I don't like nasty stuff. I'm not a nasty person. When the scene started to switch me to that person, that's when I reevaluated the direction that I want this to go in. So I just wanted to give an update about some projects that I had been working on that I am planning on continuing to work on, and just the state of those. So 2020 has been crazy for everyone. My store and my job closed down due to coronavirus, and since about March, I have been out of work. That is no longer the case. Yay! I'm back to work full time, so that has gotten in the way of a lot of the time that I have to research these videos or to create these videos, create content, be doing anything with our cast series, the Cadecast. All of these things aren't going away. It's just going to be maybe a little bit more scattered and maybe a little bit more structured to my actual career and who I am as a creator, not just arcade content and arcade commentary. So the first project I wanted to talk about is obviously Arcade Fire, my Bill musical. I am actually in the process of cleaning that up, getting it into its final form. I have been working with a new composer that's going to help me unify the score, maybe be able to put out a really good, listenable album of the music, and even maybe include a few more songs. There's parts of it where I feel like it drags a little bit, needs some more music. So when 2021 is coming around the corner and we're able to meet and able to have more conventions, able to have more in-person events, we will be ready to provide the best quality show, because I do feel that that is something that has been lacking in all convention cultures. I don't just go to the arcade shows. I actually am a anime nerd. I'm a comic book nerd. I go to a lot of nerd-based conventions, and I love my friends in the improv community. I love amateur creation. It's something I'm very passionate about. I feel like everybody deserves a platform to be creative, and everybody deserves a voice to be creative. And so, you'll go to these conventions and you'll see cosplay, improv, and stuff like that, and some great musicians coming out to do theme songs of some of their favorite shows, or gaming music. There's a whole show of gaming music that's out there. So I do think there is a place for Arcade Fire in the convention culture. I think it's comic booky. I think it's obviously video game themed. And that was something that from the bottom of my heart, I created to be positive. It's not meant to hurt any feelings. From Steve Wiebe to Billy Mitchell to Walter Day to anyone mentioned in that show and anybody who will go on to be mentioned in that show, because I do see it as a piece that will change, evolve, and grow, almost like a arcade Rocky Horror. It's gonna hopefully develop a fan base and have people that will continue to follow it and see it at these different conventions. So Arcade Fire is just being cleaned up. There's no conventions to go to right now, so that's why there's no new footage of it, because a lot of things that we were planning frankly just got canceled. So we're looking at coming back strong with something live in 2021. I'm not quite sure what that will be, and where that will be. We have a couple irons in the fire that are very formative and very figuring out what we can do and what conventions will be looking like in the future. So plan on being able to pick up an album of the Arcade Fire music. Plan on seeing a little bit of a different show. I actually think the title is going to be changing shortly, not the Arcade Fire part. I actually have no problem and no beef with the band, despite people trying to create one. It's just not a problem. But what I do want to change is the tagline of the play. I've actually been thinking about it a lot, and I think people took the tagline of the redemption of Billy Mitchell a little bit the wrong way. It's not a piece where I think that I am saying anything factual that will redeem him in a court of law. It's not a piece that I was taking seriously. I think that his redemption is when people come to meet him at an event, because I've gone to a few of them now at this point, and I have never seen an interaction that even starts out somewhat negative not turn positive. The guy is a master at his game. He's a nice guy. He's an approachable guy. And so that leaves me with my kind of final point around Arcade Fire. I don't speak for the man. I don't have all the facts. I know some things because I'm good at digging online, but these are things that you can find yourself. These are things that you can find by asking around in the community, by trying to get the answers that you're seeking. I am no longer the vessel to provide those answers. If you have questions, comments, concerns for me, I'm not going to answer them anymore, because frankly, my honesty, my trust, and my good nature has been taken advantage of several times in the community. And whereas I'm not going to let it keep me up at night any longer, I'm just not going to put myself in the position where I feel like I have really any need or any ownership to have to answer those questions. I answer them for myself to the best of my ability, and to create a show that I think is funny and not hurtful, and positive stuff that I want to put out into the community, and stuff that I want to produce with my friends, with people I know, and experiences that I'm having. I don't really owe YouTube or forums anything beyond the musical that I intend to create and that I'm putting out there. So that's sort of the future of where Arcade Fire is going to be. I see it in its final resting place, in its final form, being able to maybe do about 3 major conventions a year, larger shows where, we can spread it out every few months. And, I do have a Donkey Kong now, so I'm not going to have to be borrowing stuff as much any longer. We are a little bit closer to being structured to be able to do that comfortably, and as well as I want the show to be produced. So I would look for a return for that show in 2021. The first thing that we're kind of looking at that's still up in the air, I'm going to have to, I guess, vague YouTube here, would probably be April of next year. March and April are some times that we're looking at. So that's sort of the state of Arcade Fire, my intentions with Arcade Fire, and what it will become. So nothing's gone downhill with that, other than the fact that 2020 has been crazy and the coronavirus has taken our conventions. And so I'm just using this time to polish the piece, to polish the story, to get it in the mode in which it can tour and travel and be as fleshed out and well-rounded and quality as I want it to be. We've thrown together some readings, and we've done some stuff where it's been formative. We've learned a lot. we've had talkbacks, we've had panels, we've heard from the community what they want, and I've heard from my community in theater sort of where the show is lacking, where maybe some of the music is lacking. So the show is just on its way to becoming the finished final quality product that I want it to be. All right, so jumping to another project that I've been working on that I've been lucky enough to have a few people following and a few really great guests early on with us is the Cadecast. So no, I did not hit my self-imposed deadline of having a full episode out by the end of summer. And the reason for that is because I've started a job, because a lot of the cast members that are coming in and out of that production are also kind of returning to work or having to restructure their lives a little bit with the new normal. It's just been very hard to get all of the segments recorded, to get everybody on the same schedule. We're all over the place. We're all over the US. It is arcade season. Oh, wow. So if you know, one of the things I have to tie up, one of the loose ends that I'm looking to tie up is with Brian Koo. And if you know Brian Koo, you know I'm not talking to him during arcade season. So I won't even get to record with Brian until like sometime in November. Which we're planning on doing. So I don't have all the pieces to the puzzle to put it together into the type of final episode I wanted to create. And that deadline missed because I hate that. Even when they're self-imposed, I hate missing deadlines. That's just kind of the person and panic-driven person that I am. Because I missed that deadline, it got me thinking that maybe the future of Cadecast is more a platform for those creators in the community that I like working with, for, you know, people like Brian, for Neil, who we blame all the time, for, of course, Walter, Eastside Dave, Todd Friedman, to promote any future trading card books, you know, Bill when he blows through, if he wants to blow through and happens to Zoom bomb us, stuff like that is positive and it's fun and it's the kind of stuff that you guys should want to include in your content and in your community. Things like promoting the Galagathon and raising money with gaming for sick children. Like, these are the kind of things that I set out to provide a platform for, and that's very much where Cadecast was going. And that's very much, I think, where my co-host Blake and even Robbie wanted to go. And that's where it's going to be going, but I think that the future of it is just going to be that YouTube hub and our Facebook hub, where any one of our creators can come out with a video, kind of like what I'm doing now, where they just talk to you, or we get together in that Zoom format that you had kind of gotten used to seeing, and we discuss an issue, or we discuss an event, we discuss something that is happening in the community, but always positive. I originally thought, like, we're going to do this well-balanced podcast, and we're going to do the heavy-hitting stuff, and we're also going to do the positive stuff. And I've really come to the point where it's like, I don't want to do the heavy-hitting stuff. That's not my place. It's not my expertise. And I'm kind of just sick of arguing with some people. So that's kind of what I'm trying to avoid now. So Cadecast is going to be a platform for our creators that are willing and wanting to be involved with Cadecast, being able to put out content, put out promotions, saying, hey, Galagathon 2021 is coming up, and this year we're trying to raise $10K for kids. Arcade Fire is going to be showing in Chicago. Galloping Ghost is raising money for their new expansion. Those positive things that we're going to talk about and that we're going to put out on the internet and give people a platform to talk about is still going to happen. That YouTube channel is not going away. That Facebook page is not going away. I just am not seeing it so much as a planned out, hard-hitting, episodic podcast as much as a hub and a community and a webcast, a show, a channel. So I hope that you will follow us through that journey as we continue to make with it and we continue to work on it. We have amazing people that come in and out of the Cadecast, and funny people that come in and out of the Cadecast, and like every single one of them are people that I love to hear from, that I still talk to, that again, despite any negativity that I have faced in the community, these are not the negative people. These are the positive people. These are the people that anytime they're driving through Indiana and want to meet up at Tappers, they're welcome in my home. I will see them and I will continue to be their friend. I will continue to go to conventions and meet up with them. Nothing's going to change there. So that is where I see the Cadecast going. Lastly would be the state of this YouTube channel. Like I've said, In my last announcement, like I said earlier in this announcement, I have no more interest in really commentary-based stuff. And I'm also going to be kind of dialing back the pure arcadiness of this channel. As you see, there are some other rehearsal videos on here, and there's other bits of shows on here. Believe it or not, I used to run a whole theater company that wasn't just arcade-themed stuff. I want to get back into that. Obviously, coronavirus has affected the theater just as much as it's affected the arcade stuff. So there are no events. Fringe was canceled this year. I had a really beautiful show coming out with one of my best friends that I love to work with that was centered around comic books and kind of the idea of convention culture and pop culture and how it treats its icons, and a really exciting piece. And Fringe just got canceled this year, sadly, so we didn't get to do that piece this year. And Catalyst, my company, hasn't really been able to actively produce, not only since Arcade Fire kind of taking me all over the place and not just being in Indiana, but just with the state of theaters, you can't really find a venue right now because you can't do an audience inside, you can't do large gatherings of people. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. Our local community just lost two tremendous leaders, one actually due to complications with the coronavirus. So the culture and the state of my community, we're not in a good place right now. And when 2021 rolls around and we are more able to do theater and live performance, I'm going to be there to answer that call. There's a lot of theaters and a lot of spaces that I love dearly that are in kind of a dangerous situation. This has hit local arts hard. And if it's one thing that I call myself first before any YouTubing, any podcasting, anything at all, it is definitely that I am a theater person. I'm a theater creator. I love local theater. I love community theater. It is what has kept me alive at many points in my life. And so when we are able to answer that call, I will definitely be there. And so I am planning on using this channel to do some streamed readings of some of my older work that I feel like needs some polishing and some changing and some audience reaction. So I have a group of terrific, awesome local volunteers and some not local volunteers who have been meeting up on Zoom, reading some of my old work. And we are actually going to be streaming the first one on my writer page, Uncanny Casey, and this YouTube channel tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a piece that I wrote in college, my senior year, actually as my final for playwriting class. It is called The Ripple Effect. I think you're going to see a little bit of a younger Casey because it's very hopeful, it's very sweet, and some of my maturity as a writer was not really present yet. So that's why I want to revisit the piece. It was also the first piece that Catalyst, my theater company, ever did a staging of as our sort of breakout show. So it's very, very near and dear to my heart. It deals with a lot of the themes of friendship, of connection, of what I like to see in people, of stereotype driving. And it's a weird little piece, and I think you'll enjoy it quite a bit. The cast is tremendous, and they've only, read through it twice in their lives, and they already sound like they've been in rehearsal. It's been a real treat to, even in some small way over Zoom, be doing some sort of rehearsals and some sort of theater again. So The Ripple Effect will be our first one tomorrow at 8 p.m. And then we are looking at doing another piece, ironically enough, set in a coffee shop, just like my new job, called The Solidarity, that will be coming up, as well as another piece called Q that I have staged twice that I just feel has not quite found its sea legs yet. But again, very silly, very heartfelt. I think these are pieces that if you enjoyed Arcade Fire, if you enjoy some of my more pop culture-y stuff, I think you're going to enjoy some of my more character-driven stuff that's completely original as well. Arcade Fire wasn't really a departure for me as a playwright. A lot of my theater friends fell into Arcade Fire a little bit easier than the arcade community fell into it, because I do deal with 90s stuff and nostalgia stuff and pop culture stuff. So it is a show that I do believe has a future, and it will have a future, as will this channel, as will the Cadecast. I just wanted to sort of present this update and talk about some of the things that I have been doing and where I am and where the state of this YouTube channel is, and a little bit about why I'm not going to be making that part 3-2 video. We're just going to leave it at what I've said. I think I've said enough. I think you know where I stand on the issue. My opinion has not changed on the issue. I am still pro the redemption of Billy Mitchell, even though I'm changing the play's title. So that is my little bit longer than I wanted it to be update for you guys. I appreciate you listening if you're still listening, and I really hope to see you guys tune in. I'm going to try to have a live chat going and figure out how to like stream live videos and be in the chat for each of these readings of the plays that are coming up, and just keep creating content and making stuff as it comes to me, so that next year when we're able to meet again, be it conventions, be it in live theater, be it just if I can go see you at Tapper editing. I've got a shift at work coming up, so stay safe. There's still a pandemic out there. I think YouTube is a beautiful thing in the sense that everyone has a voice and everyone has a platform to be able to create the kind of content that they want to create. And I think with the danger that this pandemic has caused to some arcades closing, to some conventions not being able to return, to some theater houses closing, you should want that positivity too out there. If you don't like the show, don't come see it. If you don't like me, don't click on my videos. But no longer am I hosting a platform for more arguing. There's forums for that. There's wind tunnels for that. I can name a few that I used to sit on all day that I'm just no longer interested in sitting on. If that's your interest, go do it over there, but no longer on my channel. Everybody have a great week. Everybody stay happy, stay positive, and hopefully we will see you for some play readings, and hopefully we will see you at the arcade, at conventions, and more in the future. Stay safe. Wear a damn mask. I want to see you in person again. Love you guys, and stay tuned.